it's hard
They
to
already
come.
lived.
It's hard to come to a place where you're okay with saying, "I'm good.
Yeah.
I've lived my life, and I'm good."
And that's the thing about respecting the patient's
Yeah, and the
choices.
last however long I want to live, I'm gonna do it my way. So, did you have any of those moments during your treatment and during this whole thing where you were defiant of what your kids, Pepe, everybody around you, your friends, like you just wanted to do you?
Yes. Yes, of course.
At the greenhouse.
Exactly. That's like I had no mask. It was full of people. Like I didn't care. I just wanted to forget everything that had happened to me that day.
Plus,
like my birthday sucked. I was at home. I should not say suck because I was with my family, but I didn't celebrate it the way I wanted because I was going through this. I had a cake and my family around me, and that was it. I didn't go out. And I'm a birthday person. Like my birthday, I start celebrating like a month before.
Are you a Leo?
Yes.
Yes, Queen.
We love our birthday.
When's your birthday?
August 15th.
Oh, I'm the 7th. Yes.
Oh.
It's my little Leo tattoo. Oh, yeah. We are all about ourselves.
So it's like, I was like, oh, man, my birthday. So then when that day came up, I was like living my birthday, the fact that I was alive, the fact that, I was going to finish my chemo soon. Like I was on almost my last one, and I just went all out. I totally,
But you know what? You deserve that. You deserve that celebration of you on that day, in that moment.
But I lived it. After the next day,
I
was
totally get it.
And my last chemo took a toll on me big time.
And you knew it was going to, right?
Yeah, my friend kept telling me, and she was totally right.
So maybe subconsciously, because you knew that, you were like, let me do it while I have the energy, because I know next week or whatever day that things are going to be, I'm going to have to, it's going to be a little slow rising back to my normal self after my last chemo. So let me just get this out while I can.
It took
I
me at least a week to
Were you on
get...
carboplatin? Or one of the platin drugs?
Progetta, I think it was called.
It might have been the
or maybe it was that.
That's like the not the brand name, but it's platinum-based chemos are really tough on people, which is they use a lot, I think, on breast cancer.
My last one was bad. Like I had stomach ache, vomiting, headache, awful. I was just knocked out for like a week. I couldn't get up. I needed help. I wouldn't hold anything on my stomach, but through this whole process, I've been blessed of having friend and my family. They've been pro. There were afternoons, again, another afternoon where I was like, I don't want to eat because I just can't eat nothing. And then that metal taste in your mouth when you're on chemo, it's nasty. It's so gross. You don't want to eat anything. And I didn't want to eat, and my husband left work once again, and he bought me some soup, and I was like very weak in the sofa, and he was like literally on his knees feeding me the soup. Those moments, if I ever question if my husband loved me, those are the moments that you're like, this is love.
So I'm going to summon the positive vibes of Pepe. So we're talking about a lot of the bad things that has happened to you and the emotions of that. What are some of the things that you are grateful of that that you've gone through this experience?
First, that I'm still in treatment, that I'm still alive, that I learned how to value my family, value my husband. Definitely, I think that's one of the biggest, and my kids. I learned how to value my mother-in-law. That was a big one. That was my biggest, because for many years we didn't get along, and this taught me how to be more humble and to appreciate her And I'll tell you what, one of the biggest things that she was afraid was that if she would live with us, that we would be taking care of her. She doesn't want that. She's just like that mother-in-law. She wants to be, by herself, taking care of herself. And one day she sat down next to me in my bed when I couldn't get up, not even to make breakfast. She made breakfast for me. And she sat down and she was like, I wish it would be me.
Wow.
That was tough.
She wanted to take that pain away.
Yeah. And for her to say that, that was incredible. And she said, I would never imagine that I would be the one taking care of you. And that was tough. I learned how to value her for what she was. And not being on a fight or being the person who came and lived in my house a threat. Like, because she would come in and do breakfast for my family, and I'd be like, oh, I'm the one that makes breakfast. Never saw it as a help until I got sick. I realized, fuck, what an asset she was and she is.
Do you see that everything happens for a reason?
Yeah. Totally. It was all aligned of, okay, Audrey, this is why you're doing this. This is why you need to go through this struggle to value your kids, value your husband, value your mother-in-law, and value myself too, because I didn't know how strong I was until this happened. Like, you never know. You never know how strong you are until you have to pull yourself in a bathroom to try to wake up. One of those nights I tried to wake up and I was struggling literally like a dog going back to bed while my husband was sleeping. And he found me like this.
Because you were weak? Because
I was weak. And he was like, I'm so sorry you didn't call me. And he gave me an Apple Watch during my treatment so I could be like, I need help.
Oh, my God. Medic alert.
They were watching.
I'm falling and I can't get up.
Before I was like, I knew they were in the sofa watching a movie, and I would bang on the wall like, I need help getting up, or by all means showering. Oh, she could tell you she helped me shower. That was tough. My husband, I think I was also talking about the weakness moments was when I was in the shower and I was so weak, I couldn't shower standing. I had to sit down and I would just be on my shower on the floor, rubbing the soap. And then when I took too long, my family would come in and be like, are you okay? And I was like, I can't get up. I can't get up. I literally cannot get up. My legs can't hold me. And they have to, her and my husband, lift me up, put a towel over me, dry me, put my undies on, my bra. Like, I had no strength to put my PJs on. You never see yourself how bad it's going to be until you get to that point. And that's when you start valuing your kids, because most of the time you yell, you didn't do your bad, you didn't do. But she would go to school and come back, and I'll be like, can you make me lunch? Can you fix me this? Can you help me go bathroom? I can't get up. And then after, when I had my surgery, and then that was a different struggle. You can't lift your hands. I still have struggle. I'm still in pain. They still hurt. The implants hurt.
You need to drain the I don't know what they are.
The drainers.
There's a drain.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you need to do that every
my husband,
couple times a day.
Should have seen his face.
I'm sure. I can imagine.
Where do you drive strength from?
My kids. My tattoo. My kids. Definitely. That's why. My children are my strength, right?
I have a question for Andrea. So, obviously your mom's not going to know this answer. So you and your sister, you're like, what, 3 years apart? Mm-hmm. So you're pretty close, right? You and your sister. So after your mom told you that she had cancer and you guys are by yourselves, did you guys have conversations about what was going to happen, or even through the process? Did you guys have conversations amongst yourself, like to either encourage each other or just talk about it? Because you have to release it some kind of way.
Good question.
And no one else is going to understand what you're going through better than your daughter. I mean, than your sister. I'm sorry.
We didn't really talk much. Usually we don't get along as much. But
you do now, don't you?
Yeah, we do. She kept seeing me crying on my bed, and we don't talk. We more like sing, and so she would put my favorite songs and we would sing together. And that's how we kind of like grieved, and how we found out that my mom had cancer. We would just sing a bunch of sad songs, and then either my mom or my dad would come with ice cream or some delicious treat, and we would all just sit in the living room and watch a movie and stuff like that. But I never really talked to her till like now, that when we're alone and my parents get mad because they send us to bed and we're like chit-chatting before we go to bed, and we're like in our kind of like living room. Mm-hmm. We have like a living room in our room, and we would just talk and chat. We never really had like a long conversation unless it was like singing.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked your mom. What was, during this whole thing, what was your weakest moment? And what was your strongest moment?
My weakest moment was seeing my mom like on the floor all the time. Like I was like, "What happened? Are you okay?" And my like strongest moment was probably when I've been to every kind of doctor appointment she's been to, because my sister's working, my dad's working, and I'm always free. So I think the strongest moment I've had is when the kind of third day that I went to doctor with her, I brought all our stuffed animals and I made her laugh because since I was little I can do like a Stitch voice, and I kept talking in like the Stitch voice and I would make her laugh. I think that was my strongest moment. So
do you think you're, because everybody else is busy sometimes, right? Your mother-in-law is busy, or you can't be there. Pepe can't be there because he's got to work, and you know, your
dad only missed 2 appointments.
So
you gotta give it to him.
So do you think you're where your mom is struggling, you try to kind of
totally
help in that, like be her strength when she can't and doesn't have the strength to be her own strength? Do you feel that?
I do.
Yeah.
I try cheering her up in a bunch of different ways, and she would just like start smiling, and then we would start laughing for no reason.
How has it affected your friend group? Do you guys talk about it?
I believe because my friends are really close to me and they know my mom very well. And the moment I told them that my mom was struggling with cancer, they all like were really sad because they felt bad for me. And I was like, don't feel bad. Things happen for a reason. They know that that's the one thing I've always said. And ever since my car crashed, they were like mad at me because they're like, you could have died and stuff like that. You're lucky to be alive. And I valued my friends a lot more ever since this happened.
So your mom talks about, the isolation and stuff, about what she's going through. Have you felt any isolation?
A little bit, even though I have to go to school and I have to like finish my grades, my school years. I felt a little isolated but it wasn't a huge problem because I would stay with my mom and take care of her. But sometimes I would miss out on parties, like hanging out with my friends that are from different schools that I don't really see all the time. But it wasn't a huge problem because I was just spending time with my mom.
If you had it your way, would you skip school and just chill with your mom?
Yeah, I would.
I figured so much.
Totally.
I figured so much.
She wanted to go was it a party in school, a prom or something?
Spring dance.
Spring dance. She didn't want to go. She wanted to go.
I think it was a fall dance instead.
But I said, okay, look, I'm under this treatment. You can't go to this thing because, you can get me sick. But I am willing to let you go as long as you wear a mask.
I wasn't a big fan of masks back then.
Oh, you're an anti-masker.
She was a hater of the mask, so she decided.
Trust me, I hate it.
She was like, I'm not going. She'd rather stay home.
I told my friends I couldn't go, and they were like, oh, have fun, take care of your mom, make sure she rests. And they would send me pictures, and like my mom would find me crying because there's like all my friends in a picture and I wasn't there to see it, and my teachers were dancing and I wasn't there to see it.
So we talked about your weakest moment, Audrey, and we talked about Andrea's weakest moment and strongest moment.
Yes.
Pepe's not here to talk for himself, so I'm going to ask both of you. Do you know what his weakest moment was and what his strongest moment was? And has he ever shared any of that? Or he's just a ray of sunshine all the time? Because you understand, people that are ray of sunshines, they suffer in their own way.
He has everything inside. Yeah, I think my husband's not a talker person. He's definitely built up. Like I believe he talks to himself when he drives. I think that's what he does. He does his own therapy. But no, I've never. Maybe when we were diagnosed, I think that was maybe the weakest. Like when the doctor confirmed it and he held my hand and he said, "We're gonna beat this." I think that was hard for him.
Sounds strong to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, strong, but like it was like.
But like it was confirmed because when they first said, "Oh, this could be bad," he was like, "No."
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like, "Oh no, fuck, I was wrong," right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's in your weakest moments that you find out exactly how strong you are. So
yeah, that's what
again,
they say.
It's that fine line.
Yeah, it's a fine line. Yeah.
Where
he has been through. Sorry,
Go ahead.
he's been through every step of the way. He missed, I think, two appointments, and he had work, but he's been in every single chemo that I have, every single appointment, and one MRI I had will never forget. I think that was the one where I said, "This is true love." I went into that machine and didn't even last it a second. I pressed the
emergency.
And they took me out and I started crying and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't. And she was like, well, if you can't, then you need to come on another day, or they need to give you a medicine for you to calm down. And I was like, I need my husband. I need my husband. And they were like, well, but he hasn't been screened. Therefore, they screen him and comes in, and he's like, "What's going on? You're tougher than this. You're been through chemo. You had a double mastectomy. Like, why are you showing this? Crying. You're tougher than this for your kids, for us. You can do this." And I was like, no, I can't. And then he turns around and he asks the lady, like, can I stay in the room? Can I hold her hand? And then she's like, no, you can't hold her hand because she's going to be all the way in. But you can hold her feet. And he was like, okay.
I'm going to hold your big toe.
I know. And it was like hilarious. It just actually made me laugh because then I went in and he was holding the feet, both of my feet. And then when you're in the MRI, the sound is terrible. It's like,
awful.
It's like you're in a construction site. Yeah. It was awful. So he was, every single time the machine will go pa pa pa, brrr, he would do that.
That's so cute.
He would do that with my feet, like with my feet, and then would stop, and then. So he found the rhythm of the machine with my feet, and then when he would stop, he would use my feet to clap.
Oh
like,
my God.
Yeah, it was so cute.
Oh my God.
I was like,
so funny.
It is cute.
That's so funny.
I was like, Oh my God, laugh inside. I was inside of the machine laughing, like, don't make me laugh.
And you got to hold still the whole time.
Yes,
right?
I was like, oh my God, I'm not supposed to laugh. And then I came out, and then we go back into the room where he's helping me to put my clothes on. And I was like, you know what? You don't even know what love truly is until it hits you in the face. This moment right now, that was true love. Because not everybody says, let me just do this. Because
for better or for worse.
Yeah, and you being exposed to radiation, He was like, oh, thank you for telling me that. But yeah, it's been a journey that, I never thought I would cross. There was a moment where I was like, why me? You always ask that stupid question when something bad happens to you. Why me? Should be asked, why not me? Because everything, like Andrea said, everything that happens for a reason. It's for you to learn something.
What do you think you've learned?
That's living. I've learned to live. I learned to live. I learned to be more humble. I learned to be thankful, grateful to what I have. I have always been the person of, I have a break. Let's go. Let's go to Boston. Let's go to Vermont. Like a travel person. And the fact that when this happened, I haven't been able to travel. That lockdown for me was hard because of not being able to be the free bird I always have. And I've learned to appreciate what I have. My apartment, my kids, staying home. Not everybody has a home. Not everybody gets to wake up and see their kids every morning. Like, you know what? One time, I used to wake up, make breakfast, and go back to bed. And she goes to school very early. She wakes up at 5 a.m. And that's something that now, when I was able, because of course the chemo takes a toll on you. Sometimes I couldn't get up, but not because I didn't want to, it's because I was so tired I couldn't. But I would push myself through my chemo to wake up, make breakfast, stay awake. So I would have breakfast as a family. That was not happening before. And I've been married for 18 years. That was not happening. And she was having breakfast alone. And I was standing there doing something. And she was like, Mommy, oh, you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for not letting me have breakfast alone. She had breakfast alone for 13 years. So I learned to appreciate my kids so much and to live right every single second. Being more present. That was the voice. Now I have the habit of sneak up on them. And that started when my chemo started. Even when I didn't have energy, I would struggle, hide myself in a closet, would go out in the hallway because my husband and the girls, they wake up at 5 a.m. They go to the gym. And I would go out of my house to where I live in a building, so to where you take the trash out. So there's like that elevator, and then is there the other elevator, and I will wait for them there. My legs were shaking because I was tired waiting for 10 minutes, and and then I would hear the elevator open, and then I would hear them walking by, and then I would just jump on them, and they were like, sorry, they would be like, at 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God, you're so crazy. And then my husband would be like, oh, you don't have any energy, but you have energy for this. I'm like, yeah, I do have energy for this. So those moments, tiny little, you create those moments. Yeah. Everyone says that life is busy. You're always busy. Yeah, because you're on the phone, you're watching TV, I learned not to be busy because I had to take a year from
Off.
school off. And I'm blessed that I've been, under disability and they're paying me. So thank you so much, Fairfield County.
So we're going to close out the podcast real soon. But where you said you've watched a few of our episodes, you know how I close the podcast.
I love it.
So part of the way I like to close all our podcasts is that at Real Energy Podcast, we like to serve purpose. So I want to ask both of you guys, and then if you guys have any questions, we can interject afterwards. But what is the lesson? What is what have you learned and gained from this experience that you want to give it from a patient perspective and from a family member perspective? Audrey, you go first.
For a patient, I gotta tell you, as a person, you should never give up. Never. And you will please keep fighting. Please, all of you out there, shout out to everyone who is suffering any type of cancer. Do not give up. You are not alone. This is something that is going to change your life, because when you become an oncology patient, that stays with you forever. And I learned that. It's a trauma. Just like the car crash is a trauma. Being a cancer patient is a trauma. It takes time. It doesn't go away. It gives you paranoia because you think you develop senses. Women, we all have the seventh sense, but when you have cancer, you develop another sense. And it's that sense that tells you that you learn to hear your body. And even if it doesn't mean anything, like I was telling you this morning that yesterday I went to do an ultrasound, it's because I feel something in here that it was bothering me. And I was like, excuse me, I need to check this. And thank God they told me it was nothing. It's just muscle. It's a little swollen. But now you're more aware of it. When you're a cancer patient, you're more aware of everything. I've been suffering from headaches from the hormone treatment that they're giving me, which, FYI, is the worst. For all of you, if you have to go through this, it is not okay. It is tough. You'll survive. But you learn to live through it. It is not the end of the tunnel. It is tough. You get fatigue, all of these things. I learn how strong I am. I learn how to appreciate my family. I learn to love myself more. And I think every day, because I'm not happy I don't have my hair grow back.
It's a Leo thing.
It'll come back.
And I even did I color it a couple of months ago. And everyone was like, do not touch your hair. Don't do that. I just couldn't stand that it was growing my natural black color. And I did not like it. And I could see my gray hair. I was like panicking. I was like, no. I went and got it, to color it. And my God, it hurt because that normally hurts. And then when I went home, my kids were like, Mommy, you look like an egg.
Oh, my God.
The yellow part. And I was like, you guys are mean. So I shaved it again.
Oh, my God.
But I would not do that if I didn't go through this. I was like, heck, I look good blonde. So I shaved it totally again. And now it's like I left it. But going through this disease tells you, it fights you, fights yourself, your strength, your common sense, your spiritually, because, oh my God, you question God. Why is this happening to me? Like, where are you? Just with the car crash, like, wow, that I was meant to go through this. I was meant to survive this. I believe my family had to go through all the drama and trauma that had happened the past year for us to be closer together. As a wife, as a mother, as a daughter-in-law, and as a person. Definitely.
Andrea.
As a family member, it's very hard to like, it's like the shock, but the one thing I learned as a family member is to value your family more. As for the car crash, because we all could have died and it would have been really hard, because not all of us, but one of us could have died. And we're all alive. And that's the most valuable thing in the world is family. There's nothing you can have friends, but friends come and go. Family, they stay with you forever. You were born with them. You spent your whole entire life with them. So it's like kind of different. And
even if you dislike your sister sometimes.
I don't get along with her, but I love her no matter what. There's different reasons for everything. Like my quote has gone bigger and stronger for many reasons of how everything happens for a reason. And I've honored that quote ever since my life has happened. Everything in the years. I have recapped things about 2020 and 2023. And a lot of has happened. But the one thing that's valuable throughout the years is family.
That's something to say. Anybody else have anything else for our guests here?
Can't top that.
Yeah, I can't top that. That's
It's family.
it's amazing.
So, guys, I definitely appreciate you joining us on the episode
thank
today.
You for
Thank
everything.
you so much.
Your story and your survival
Thank
through
you.
this whole thing is
Thank
just
you.
incredible. I thought this was a very good way, because a lot of people go through this.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
not a rare occurrence. There's a lot of families going through this, and
Yeah.
it's rare that you hear the ins and the outs and the ups and the downs, both from a family perspective and from the person that's actually going through that situation. I admire your strength, because
Thank you.
like I said, when I saw that, I knew you were always on the go. And then a week later I saw you in a hospital. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
and
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's when I reached out to you. I said, hey, listen, if you ever want to tell your story,
and it came right in the best moment, definitely, because
Yeah.
I started watching your podcast, and then all of the subjects that you guys talk about, they're all good. They're all amazing. So hey,
Yeah, Stephanie
invite
asked
me
us-
over, definitely, please.
Yeah.
I like it.
Stephanie had asked me a question the other day about whether or not do you think our subject topics are kind of all over the place, and I told her, I said, I don't know, the reason why, when I called her on and I said I really want to start a podcast, my whole life has always been, even though I'm not an empath, my whole life has always been serving and trying to help.
I believe on that.
Yeah, and trying to help people in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
This came about because of the death of my brother. And I said, I have a voice, and if I can help someone and we can help someone through our own individual experiences, because everybody on the panel has different experiences with that, with everything.
Definitely.
And if we can serve purpose and we can help people in some way, shape, or form, even if we don't get 1 million followers, I know for a fact of 10 people right now that their lives have changed because of either being on the podcast or watching the podcast. They have reached out to me personally.
I agree with you.
And has expressed, their things. Ramon was just on the podcast last week, and the floodgates have opened for that boy, and I appreciate it, because him being on the podcast has given him the ability to say it's okay. And we talk all the time. He's calling me and just pouring it out, and I love it.
I'm here for that.
I'm loving it. I'm loving that. We're gonna get Tanya we're gonna get Tanya, our own Tanya. We gonna
the
get
lies the devil
That's
tells.
gonna-
we gonna get her. We gonna get her to we're gonna get her on a real field.
I'm still trying to figure out what Tanya needs to open up to.
You and me both.
Oh,
Yeah, what is this big
I
secret?
know. I want to know what the
don't
big
know
secret
what's
is
going
too.
on.
I'm
Do you
like
have
the
a- do you have two families?
I am like look. I tell you guys all the time. I'm like the CIA. I got a lot. I
Something's
know.
going on that we don't know.
I know a lot of secrets.
well, but
Everybody
that's
listening.
the podcast we're gonna do with wine. That's
Yeah.
when she's gonna open up.
That's how you
Doing
open up, right?
margaritas.
You need.
That's what we're gonna do.
Margaritas, right?
Margaritas.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, that's
Truth
where
serum.
the truth
Truth
is gonna
serum.
come out.
I think
gonna-
what Audrey has though that's going for her that's really really good is she has a really strong reason to live.
Yes.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yes.
You have to have
The
that
kids,
really
man.
strong reason just to want to live. And
Oh, I'm not done. I'm not done.
And that's amazing. Just to have that mentality. It's what's going to keep you going for a long, long time.
And as I said it, you got to roll with the punches. I think that's my thing, and you have your doubts.
Yeah.
You got to have doubts in life. Every single day when you wake up, you go through this, thing up and down, and you're going to have doubts, but never forget that you're here for a reason.
For a reason.
Just for, like you said, a purpose. We all have our purpose. You might not know yet what your purpose is, because you might have to have something really
You have to go through experiences.
Exactly. There are people that there are tough things that happen to them, and they still don't know because they didn't learn. But eventually they'll learn. And sometimes they don't need something bad to happen. They have this environment to help them, to prevent something from happening. This podcast will help a lot of people, like you said.
We are
really
here
feel-
to save the world.
We are here to save the world. And on that note, I think this is a very good way to end the topic. And I definitely appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing your experiences.
Thank you. No, thank you all of you for
and
inviting
just getting
us.
it out into the universe, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Real Energy Podcast. Don't forget to listen to us on all podcast platforms. All of our videos are always on YouTube at Real Energy Podcast. Peace.